Okay, what I want to talk to you today about is area of rectangles and parallelograms. Area of rectangles and parallelograms, these are your notes. If you notice at the top it says student handout, that means those are your notes. The assignment will be the one at the top that says homework, okay? And so this is lesson 2 out of this unit. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at some information at the top. Area is the blank of a two-dimensional figure. So area is the surface covered of a two-dimensional figure. So you're going to use the formula for area of rectangles. You would use capital A stands for area, and then it's going to be lowercase b times h, where b is the length of the rectangle, and h is the height of the rectangle. And the area is measured in square units. So if it's inches, times inches, it's going to be inches squared. This is going to be feet squared, and this would be meters squared. And the reason that it's square units is because it's two-dimensional. It's like length times width, or base times height. So here it says count the dimensions of each of the rectangles below and the total squares. Then use the formula to prove the area. So for rectangle 1, we know the formula is area equals base times height. And we're going to go up and we're going to count. And we're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that the base is going to be 5. And the height is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So see, that is 7 units. And across the bottom was the 5. And so then when you multiply that, then you're going to have 7 times 5, which is 35. So your area equals 35. And we don't know what kind of units those are, so I'm going to put units squared. For the second rectangle, we've got our same formula. Area equals base times height. And then we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 units across the bottom for the base. And our height over here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 9 times 6. And 9 times 6 would be 54. And that would be 54 units squared. Or you could say square units, either one. Rectangle 3, you've got your same formula, base times height. And we're going to plug in. Our base is 1, 2, 3, 4. Our height is 1, 2, 3, 4. Be sure and count the blocks, don't count the lines. So that's going to be 4 times 4, and that area is 16 units squared. Okay, pretty straightforward, right? Okay, this bottom part says determine the area of each rectangle below. Our formula for the rectangle, area equals base times height. And then we plug in the values. And so what is the base? It's going to be the 8 6/10 times the height, which is going to be the 3. Now, I don't know what that is, so I'm going to go over to the side of my paper and I'm going to multiply that. So I'm going to have 8 6/10 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. Carry the 1. 8 times 3 is 24. Plus 1 would be 25. Okay, we've got 1 decimal place in the problem, so we're going to have 1 decimal place in the answer. So our answer is going to be 25 and 8/10, and that's centimeters squared. All right, number 5. Whew, they decided to give us some mixed numbers. Wasn't that nice of them? I know. Same formula. You do it the same way. Just because they give you mixed numbers does not mean it changes how you do it. Sorry, I got thirsty. So now we're going to have 2 1/4 times 1 1/2. Now, do you remember how to multiply mixed numbers? You have to make them improper fractions, don't you? And then you can multiply. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 1/4 times 1 1/2. I'm going to do it up here. How about 2 1/4 times 1 1/2? Okay, so to make it an improper fraction, you multiply the denominator times the whole number. So we would do 4 times 2. I'm going to put a multiplication sign there, which is 8, plus 1 is 9. So that's 9/4. And then 1 1/2 would be 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 would be 3/2. And then you multiply across. What's 9 times 3? 27. What's 4 times 2? 8. And then you have to see how many times does 8 go into 27. Okay, I'm working all over the page. Sorry about that. 8 goes into 27 3 times, which is 24. 7 minus 4 is 3. And our answer is 3 3/8 feet squared. Remember, when you're dividing, your quotient is your whole number, your remainder is the numerator, and your divisor is your denominator, okay? So let's look at, this one says formulas can be manipulated to solve for the missing information. So, well, let me see if I want you to do that part. We might skip that part for right now. Okay. We are going to skip that part. We're going to go to this next page of your notes. Sorry, there's a little shadow. And, oh, right here, they're giving you the area. They want you to find the base. They want you to find the missing parts. Okay, I'm just going to count that part as kind of a bonus, and we're just going to go to the area of parallelograms. Okay, so area of parallelograms, the dimensions of a parallelogram are also referred to as the base and height. So you use the same formula. You're going to use area equals base times height, where the B is the length of the base, H is the height of the parallelogram, which makes a perpendicular, let's see, wait. H is the height in the parallelogram, which makes a blank with the base. I'm not sure. Well, your height, maybe they're wanting you to put a 90-degree angle with the base, because your height is going to be perpendicular to your base. So if you look at these, like this is your height because it's perpendicular to the base, that's your height. And here, this would be your height right here. Okay, so that's what you're always looking for, is you're looking for the height to make a 90-degree angle with your base. I'll highlight it so you can see it. Okay, I'm assuming they're wanting you to look at this one. Okay, that one's kind of weird. So right here, area equals base times height. I'm assuming that this would be your base. And you know what? we're going to skip this one. We're going to skip that one for right now. We're going to go on to parallelogram number 2. We've got the same formula, base times height. And we're going to plug in our values. Our base would be 9, and the height is 4. And they're going to give you a third number just to throw you off, okay? And so 9 times 4 would be 36, and that would be centimeters squared. Because it would take 36 centimeters that are 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter to cover the parallelogram, okay, if that was drawn to size, okay? Now this one, we've got area equals base times height. Area equals, the base is 2, the height is 1 1/3. Same thing. We're going to have to change that 1 1/3 to an improper fraction. So we would have 2 over 1 times 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4 4/3. And we would have area equals 2 times 4 is 8. 1 times 3 is 3. And we know that 3 goes into 8. 2 times, which is 6. And you have your answer, which would be 2 2/3 feet squared. Okay. I hope that was pretty self-explanatory. Now let me talk about the homework paper. Okay. So on the homework paper, you want to determine the area of the rectangle, the area of the parallelogram. Here you wanted to determine the area of the parallelogram here. Remember, your height is perpendicular to the base. You want to determine the area here. And then here they want you to read each question, sketch a picture, and then solve for the area. Okay? So hopefully, if you have any questions, just let me know. But hopefully that will be easy to understand. Okay. Good luck, and let me know if you have any trouble.